Hey, real briefly, before I get started here, a lot of people have reached out after the emergency with my best friend, where I ended up in Scotland after vacation, flying back. We were all on vacation together. My best friend lives in Washington State. He will be living now in Scotland for at least a couple months, recuperating, trying to get back to health to fly back to the United States. And obviously with that comes expenses and comes uncertainty. The co-workers of the wife of my best friend, who is also a long-time childhood best friend, they started a GoFundMe for the family. And if you're interested in helping out good and decent people, if you have $5 or $10, if not great, but if you do, and if you're interested in some of the more details that I haven't gone into, it's all contained in the GoFundMe. I'll link that below. And community is a big deal. He's also an audience member just like you. He also just happens to have a personal connection to me. And if you want to support a family in need who is of like mind and like spirit, please do. Anyway, thank you very much. The role of the President of the United States oftentimes is not just commander-in-chief, but comforter-in-chief. To be there in a time of national tragedy or uncertainty to calm the fears and comfort the grieving. And if you want to be President of the United States, in the case of Donald Trump again, you would expect that behavior on display. You would hope that it would be a natural, intrinsic quality in that individual. That's not the case with Donald Trump, despite what the cult would have you believe. That Donald Trump cares deeply about the American people. He says, I'm taking the slings and the arrows so you don't have to. That's why I'm being persecuted by the courts. If I wasn't here, they'd be coming after you. They've said this exact thing. When Donald Trump, someone took a shot at him, grazed his ear, someone died, a spectator. Someone is still in the hospital, gravely injured. But a man was killed, guarding his family, draping himself over his wife and I believe children who were there. And Joe Biden called to comfort this family, to let them know he feels for them, he grieves for them, he understands the loss of a loved one. And his call was refused. And this isn't going to be me shitting on the wife because she doesn't want to talk to Joe Biden. I don't care about that. People could talk to who they want to talk to. It's not a mark for me of ill intent or anything else. If she doesn't want to talk to Joe Biden or anybody, that's up to her. She is in a special, unbelievable moment that I would not want to be put through. I'm not going to make a judgment. But Donald Trump hasn't called her. Joe Biden called, she refused the call, even though Donald Trump is nowhere to be found. This is an article from the tabloid paper, the New York Post, owned by Rupert Murdoch, the owner of Fox News and a host of other conservative outlets. Here's the headline. Firefighter Corey Comparatore's widow refused Biden call after Trump rally shooting, quote, didn't want to talk to him. Of course, they're going to make this salacious. The heartbroken widow of Corey Comparatore, the hero fighter shot dead by a sniper at the Donald Trump rally, wanted nothing to do with President Biden when he called after the tragedy, she told the Post. Quote, I didn't talk to Biden, Helen said from her Pennsylvania home Monday. I didn't want to talk to him. My husband was a devout Republican, and he would not have wanted me to talk to him. Corey Comparatore, a beloved volunteer firefighter and married father of two, was at Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday with his family when deranged sniper Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20, Republican, opened fire. They don't say he's a Republican, of course. Registered Republican, 20, white male, Thomas Matthew Crooks, opened fire. A bullet struck the former president's in the ear, grazed the president in the ear. Two rallygoers were wounded, and Corey Comparatore was killed in the gunfire. Helen said it was supposed to be an exciting day for the family to support Trump. When the shots rang out, her husband instinctively shouted, "Get down," and used his body to shield his family from the sniper's bullets, and it cost him his life. And then at the very end of the article here, at the very end, they're just hoping no one gets there, she said the former president has not reached out, but Biden's call was not welcome. So there's a couple things here I want to talk about. To those who still proclaim this not to be a cult, she described her husband as a devout Republican. Not a dedicated Republican, not a loyal Republican, not an active Republican, a devout Republican. Devotion. And then the other thing here is that it was supposed to be an exciting day for the family to support Trump. Meaning they took time out of their day, not knowing they would give of their blood to support Donald Trump. But they were there to support Donald Trump, and he can't even take 5 or 10 minutes out of his 24-hour days to call this widow, this grieving woman who is so devout to the dear leader, she won't even take a call from the current seated president of the United States. It's a cult, folks. It's a cult. They are so blind to what they want Donald Trump to be, they can't see past that delusion to see that he's a man who does not care about them. He doesn't care. Why was this not the very first call? Thinking of them before himself even. And of course, the media, Rupert Murdoch's paper in this case, is carrying water for Trump. The headline is about she didn't want to hear from Biden. And then at the very end, it's that she said, the woman has admitted Donald Trump hasn't reached out. Disgusting, delusional, insane. Not her reaction, but just the media's culpability in this, the delusion, the group mass delusion of Republicans acting as though Donald Trump cares deeply about them, when by all evidence, everything we can see with our eyes tells us he does not. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call. Leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I want to hear from you on this. You can also leave a comment below. That'll help YouTube to share. It'll trick YouTube into sharing this content with new audience members, and that is great. It's a great way to support. Another way to support, to take it to the next level, if that's where you are, you can click the join button below. For $2 a month, become a channel member. You can go over to my Patreon page, which is even better. They take less money than YouTube does. Patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I'm on social media everywhere at Dollemore, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.